So one thing I learned is that Opptly takes a vectorization approach to profiles. Can you describe what vectorization means and how it improves sourcing?
Yeah, I mean, vectorization in a very simplistic way is it's just a mathematical representation of a person or an object, right? So what Opptly does essentially is it takes a candidate profile, and that could be very much their resume, and we digitize it. We create a mathematical representation of that. And we actually do that two ways. And not to get too technical, but there's a concept of a long vector, which is the entire work history of a person, right? So it's taking a look at it, it's identifying all the skills that are relevant to this person, and it's creating a mathematical representation of that person. But the one thing that COVID has kind of brought to life for us is gaps of employment or gaps in their work history. So, for example, a person could be a software developer for the first 10 years of their life, but because of COVID, they had to take another position, whether that's layoffs or whatever was the driver for that. We've introduced the concept of a short vector, which is our ability to isolate aspects of a person's career to get a better representation of what they're actually capable of. So the AI, what it does is that is where the rule base comes into play, where the AI is smart enough to say, all right, well, do I want to grab the full comprehensive history of a work history, or do I want to isolate the short vector, which is a subset of their history, to match them against the opportunity? So vectorization is really just a mathematical way of defining and seeing associations of skills, but also there is efficiencies gained from a processing perspective. That's how AI does its work so quickly.
Okay, so maybe just if we could make it concise, how does vectorization enable a skills-based approach to workforce and project management?
What it does is it captures the comprehensive skills taxonomy of a person. And what it does is it associates that with the same type of a vectorized profile from a job description as well. So in conjunction, it's comparing numerical representations of those two objects together rather than doing a semantic skill-to-skill type of a matching approach.
Okay, fascinating. How does this approach mitigate or reduce bias in attraction and selection?
That's a great question. The reason that we do it here at Opptly and we don't have bias within the confines of our model is because we rely on our skills taxonomy, right? So even though we understand the basis in which skills are applied within a job description or a resume, the backbone of how we do our matching is the skills taxonomy, which we've grown on our own. And the one thing that we continue to do is that skills taxonomy has to evolve with talent, has to evolve with the introduction of additional job families, has to evolve with the introduction of additional job requisitions as well. So skills taxonomy, if you use it as the basis for your AI, you've really removed the bias.
And how do you confirm or ensure that that bias has been removed?
Analysis, right? It's all about analysis. It's running what we consider match lists against the AI and seeing what it's offering up from a match perspective. The way I like to look at bias or diversity, right? You know, that diversity should really be looked at in the creation and the curation of a talent community. When you're looking at matching talent to demand, that's where we come into play, and that's where the unbiased nature of the AI needs to be strong.